The Academy transport slid along the station's outer ring like a quiet silver bead. The windows showed the curve of the planet below, a blue and green swirl with soft cloud lines. Inside the cabin, rows of cadets filled the seats with soft chatter and the rustle of tablets and flight manuals. The air smelled like clean metal and citrus wipes. Every seat had a small display, a safety harness, and a fold-out control stick used for training sims during long rides. Near the middle of the cabin, an alien cadet sat by the window, hands folded on a slim bag. Her name was Lena. Her skin had a faint pearl sheen that picked up the cabin lights, and a short ridge of pale scales lay along her temples like decorative braids. Her people called those scales echo lines. They helped them sense tiny vibrations. Lena kept her gaze on the window, listening to the ship with quiet focus. She liked quiet. She liked steady sounds that did not change without reason. The transport's engines hummed at a calm pitch that the other cadets did not notice. She could hear that pitch, and it comforted her. No one sat beside her. The cabin was almost full, yet the seat at her side stayed empty. A group of cadets across the aisle glanced her way from time to time. When their eyes met hers, they looked back to their screens. Some lifted a shoulder in a small shrug. Some smiled and then smiled away. It was not open unkindness. It was distance. Her world had signed a truce with the Coalition 3 months ago, and old habits were slow to fade. Even on a training route with open seats and polite rules, no one chose the quiet seat beside Lena. The overhead lights shifted to soft blue. A tone sounded, and the cabin display showed the route map from the ship to Station Halcyon Gate, the largest training hub in orbit. The map also showed a large circle labeled Practice Sector with an icon of a shuttle. Below that, a message read, "Today's paired drill begins in 30 minutes. Lena's hands tightened on her bag. She had read the schedule twice before boarding. She knew the drill used the transport seats as paired sim stations. She knew teams would form by who sat next to whom when the drill started. She knew that no one had asked to trade for the seat. Beside her, and the blue light meant there were not many minutes left. She told herself it did not matter. She could observe alone. She could run the simulation solo at a slower pace. She had done that before. It would be fine. Still, her echo lines felt a small tremor, not from the ship, from inside her. The aisle walkway shifted as someone stepped into her row. A human pilot with dark hair and a tidy jacket stopped beside the empty seat. He did not look at the group across the aisle. He did not scan the rest of the cabin to see where else he could go. He looked only at the seat, and then at her window as if the view mattered most. "May I sit here?" he asked, voice calm and level. Lena turned. "Yes." The pilot slid in and set his bag under the seat with neat care. He buckled his harness and placed his tablet on the shared armrest. His hands moved like someone used to keeping tools in order. He did not offer a handshake. He did not try to tap her bag or make a joke to cut the quiet. He let the quiet be. "I am Evan," he said after a moment. "Pilot training cohort. First route to Halcyon Gate." "Lena," she said. He nodded, as if that answer completed a checklist. He tapped his tablet, and the route map filled his display. Then he tapped a small icon that let the seat partner view the same map. The picture mirrored onto her screen with a soft blink. He had shared without asking. She looked from the map to his face, curious. "Shared view helps during drills," he said. "If you would rather not, I can switch it off." "It helps," Lena said. "Thank you." He nodded again and went back to the map. His expression stayed steady. He did not stare at her echo lines. He did not ask about her world. He did not ask why the seat had been empty. He watched the little ship icon on the map and the countdown clock near the corner. His quiet felt like thought, not judgment. For Lena, it felt like shade in bright light. The cabin speakers clicked. "Cadets," the instructor said, "we will run a paired navigation exercise during the last 40 minutes of the journey. Your seat partner is your team. If you need an accommodation, press the call light now." Several lights pinged. Lena stayed still. Evan stayed still. The instructor continued. Scenario brief, the voice said. You will guide a training shuttle through a low-risk debris field near Station Halcyon Gate. The field is real. The risk is controlled. Your goal is to maintain a smooth approach vector that avoids wake turbulence and minimizes fuel use. Points for steady hands and coordination. Fewer points for speed alone. Lena looked out the window and then at the map. The debris field, as marked, sat near a service ring left from a long-ago station expansion. Old trusses, old plates. It was a tidy zone, cataloged and monitored. Still, she felt the small tremor inside again. She did not like fields that were supposed to act one way, because they had acted that way before. Old metal could hold new signals. Old systems could wake when a tone changed. She did not say this out loud. Evan leaned back in his seat, relaxed posture. I favor slow and steady, he said. If the sim allows hands-off glide segments, I will aim for them. Slow and steady works if the field stays still, Lena said. Sometimes the field has a rhythm. He turned slightly. You hear shifts better than the rest of us? Sometimes, she said. Good, he said, simple and sincere. Tell me when you hear something. I will take the lines. She breathed out, just enough to calm the tremor. The lights warmed to a soft amber. The cabin dimmed. The seat displays switched to sim mode. Evan's control stick extended from the armrest with a smooth click, and Lena's console lit with sensor graphs and tone meters. She touched the sensitivity dial and lowered it. She liked to turn signals down first. If something was real, it would still show at low levels. Noise would fall away. The sim screen framed a small shuttle nose, the field ahead, and faint grid lines for course guidance. An audio tone indicated engine health and ball-bearing drift. Most cadets ignored that tone. It was old-fashioned. Lena had trained herself to note it. 5 seconds, Evan said. 4, 3, 2. The shuttle moved like a leaf with just enough stiffness to catch the current. Evan's hands were gentle on the control stick. He did not yank to point the nose. He let the ship settle into the first guide lane and then made small, tidy taps. Lena watched the debris markers. The field looked calm. The markers showed average drift and expected wake. She glanced at the tone meter. The engine tone lines ran straight. The background hiss had a grain to it that was not random. She listened. She did not try to name it. She let her echo lines feel for the pattern. Do you hear anything? Evan asked. Not yet, she said. I hear a texture. It is like sand under smooth water. It is not a wave. It is there. He made no comment. He kept a fixed rate of correction and set the glide path tighter to the lane center. The sim gave a small green blink for fuel efficiency. He did not chase the blink. He let it come as a result of steady lines. The first plates drifted past. The shuttle's nose dipped. Evan corrected with a breath-like motion. The sim scored it as very good. The cabin's far rows made small sounds of surprise as other teams overshot and then bounced back. The instructor's voice said, Remember, hands like calm water. Lena tilted her head. The background hiss changed shape. It took on a faint rhythm, like a tap at a slow heartbeat rate. Tap, tap, pause, tap, tap, pause. The rhythm was not steady enough to be a beacon. It was not messy enough to be random drift. Her echo lines tingled. Pattern, she said, left, right, or center? Evan asked. Not spatial, Lena said. Temporal. A pulse. It might be a maintenance ping. Old and weak. Does it change where the debris moves? Evan asked. Maybe, she said. When the ping comes, the plates seem to sway a little, in phase. Small, but it means when the ping strobes, the gaps shift. Understood, he said. Call timing if it helps. She closed her eyes for one breath. The hiss came, and within it, the faint taps. She counted. 3, 2, 1, tap. Evan held the line past the tap without moving into a closing gap. He waited. Another tap. A narrow space opened a fraction wider than the sim predicted. He slid the shuttle through that space with a slow roll that kept the sensors centered. Green blink, a soft chime. The score ticked up. Again in 6, she said. 5, 4, 3, 2. Tap. He held. The gap to starboard opened. He did not swing. He eased. The shuttle advanced, and the gap stayed true. The sim lit a calm gold band on the lane. Another chime. Across the aisle, a cadet laughed in relief as their team recovered from a near miss. "We almost clipped that," he said. His partner's voice was nervous. "I thought the field would be the same as in the brief." The instructor replied, "Fields have mood. Trust your tools. Trust your partner." Evan kept the shuttle's nose aligned. Lena counted taps and marked open windows. After a minute, she no longer needed to count out loud. They fell into a rhythm with the field not fighting it, not moving before it moved, not rushing after gaps that looked good but would close. Evan did not try to show skill with fast twists. He showed skill by not forcing the ship to prove anything. He let the steady plan win small victories. The sim marked a mid-run checkpoint with a soft tone and a print of the route. Evan glanced at the print. Lena did not look away from the hiss. The taps grew stronger. The phase between taps shortened. The field's drift began to sink. Docking was smooth. The transport kissed the guide rails, couplers locked with a soft bump, and the cabin lights turned a warm white. The instructor released the belts and spoke in the same calm tone as before. "Row 12, forward station, please." Other cadets stood to stretch or to grab their bags. A few looked toward Lena and Evan with polite curiosity, not unkind. Lena took her small bag with both hands. She felt the weight of her credential folio inside. The folio held her sensor math certificates and 2 letters from teachers on her world. She had read those letters many times. They did not ask for favors. They only told simple facts about her work and her steady nature. Evan waited for the aisle to clear, then stood. He did not hurry her. He did not try to lead. They walked side by side through the forward hatch and into a short corridor. The station air smelled like cool metal and clean oil. The floor lights pulsed in a gentle line toward a door marked Review Bay. Inside the bay, 3 people waited at a small table. A security officer with a silver collar tab, a systems tech in a navy vest, and the instructor from the transport. The officer's nameplate read Commander Rhea. The tech's tag read Jai. The instructor smiled in welcome. "Thank you for coming," Commander Rhea said. Her voice was steady, not hard. "We saw an unusual event on the approach grid. Our logs show a query during the grid flicker with an ID fragment that matches your cadet tag, Lena 4S. This is not an accusation. It is only a fact to check. May we view your seat console log and your credentials?" "Yes," Lena said. She placed the folio on the table and tapped the seat console sync on her tablet. The log transfer chirped. Evan mirrored his own log, beside hers without being asked. 2 neat lists filled the small wall display: sim timestamps, button presses, shared screen markers, and the line where the grid had gone dark and come back. Jai, the systems tech, leaned forward. He did not frown. He looked like a person who liked puzzles. "Your sim shows a background hiss with a repeating grain," he said softly. "You marked the taps by voice, Lena. I can hear them on playback. Your timing matches the motion of the plates." Lena nodded. "I did not try to name it then. I only counted and waited." "That helped," Evan said. It was not a boast. It was a simple entry in the record. Commander Rhea watched the log scroll. "This line," she said, pointing. "Here is the grid flicker. Here is the review check. Here is the 4S tag. Jai, is that a direct access from the cadet console?" Jai shook his head. "No, Commander. It is a cross-correlation produced by the station's auto-review. The grid went out and up again fast. The review ran a sweep to see who had high-resolution sensor channels active at that exact second, in case someone caught useful data. Lena's console had an active narrow-band filter running. The filter caught the exact moment. So the system noticed her because she was listening," Rhea said. "Yes," Jai said. Not because she reached in. The instructor let out a small breath. Good. Then we keep the day simple. Commander Rhea turned to Lena. Thank you for keeping your console steady and for staying calm. Do you have the sensor study credentials the system asked for? Lena opened the folio with care. Inside were 2 thin certificates from a learning institute on her world, printed in a clean black font with a small watermark and the letters from her teachers. Commander Rhea read the certificates, then skimmed the letters. She did not read the letters out loud. She nodded when she finished and returned them without a mark. These are in order, she said. I also see from your entry record that you signed up for additional station clinics in signal interpretation. That is noted. Evan did not speak. He watched, ready if asked for anything. He held his tablet in a relaxed hand. His stillness made the room feel less sharp. Commander Rhea folded her hands. We have one more step. Our grid flicker is not normal. It might be a simple sync error, but we do not treat it like nothing. We will send a small training shuttle to map the interference around the old service ring. If the interference is harmless, good. If it is a leftover beacon pinging in a way that could confuse approach lanes, better to know now. Would you two join this supervised mapping flight? Your sim shows coordination that I like. An instructor will ride with you and keep authority. You will not replace any station team, you will only provide careful eyes and calm hands. Yes, Evan said. Yes, Lena said at the same time. The instructor smiled. I will join. You for the first pass, he said. Ground rules, no damage, no force, full logs and full voice during decision points. Jai will stream the raw data to a clean buffer. Commander Rhea tapped the table. A small screen showed their route plan, a slow spiral survey around the old ring and the area where the debris field simulation had placed their practice. The path did not cross traffic. The power level was set low. We keep power low to avoid waking anything that sleeps, Jai said, almost to himself, pleased with the plan. We keep speed low to hear the shape. If there is a rhythmic source, we will see phase in the samples. Rhea looked at Lena. I understand you prefer quiet, careful work. Use that. I also understand that Evan thinks out loud when he flies. Use that too, but please agree on clear signals so your styles support each other. Evan nodded. We can use short phrases and hand signs. Lena nodded. Short phrases. Hand signals. Rhea stood. The small meeting was over. Thank you. For your steadiness. If this is nothing, we will know. If this is something simple, we will calm it. If this is something old, we will treat it with respect. The peace convoy arrives in 20 hours. I want the lanes honest and quiet for them. The last line sat in the air like a soft bell. 20 hours. Enough time to work with care. Not enough time for waste. They left the review bay and walked the short hall to the training hangar. The hangar held a row of small craft with neat noses and round windows. Maintenance crews walked between the ships with carts of tools and coils of cable. Everything smelled like fresh sealant and the faint, clean scent of cooling electronics. Their shuttle was a compact training tug painted white with a thin blue line. Its name, Windward, curved near the hatch. The instructor, whose tag read Jalen, did a brisk walk around with Evan and Lena. He touched each latch and panel and made a quiet note when a seal sat just right. Inside Windward, the cabin had 3 seats in a line. Jalen took the back with a full console and a safety override. Evan sat left at the flight stick. Lena sat right at the sensor board. The boards lit in a soft glow. Power level indicators sat low and calm. Pre-flight, Jalen said. They moved through the list together. Evan's voice stayed low and even. Battery net green. Thruster lock green. Beacon passive. Navigation local only. COM, line of sight to station relay. Lena checked her board. Sensors, narrow band ready, wide band muted, tone meter calibrated to background, recording buffer, clean. Jalen watched their hands. Language, he said. Short. If you need longer, say long speak first so the other knows to wait. Understood, Evan said. Yes, Lena said. Hand signs, Jalen said. He moved his fingers in 3 small gestures. Hold, Ease. Cut. These stand for wait. Gentle adjust, stop. Use them even if you also speak. They agreed. The small rules felt kind. They made room for both styles. Clear to depart, came Jai's voice on comm. Streaming buffer ready. Have a good listen. Windward drifted free on soft puffs. Evan kept the motion like a leaf sliding off a still pond. He did not test the thrusters with sharp taps. He breathed, and the ship seemed to breathe with him. Lena watched the edges of the station fall away. The old service ring hung like a dim wreath, all truss and patched plates. Entering survey spiral, Evan said, "Low power." Lena dialed her sensors down first as she liked. Noise fell away. Real tones held. The hiss returned like sand under smooth water. After a minute, the hiss took on that faint pulse again. Tap. Tap. Pause. I hear it. She said. Pulse present. Weak. Interval is not fixed. Copy. Jai said quietly in the ear. Buffer sees it too. Keep your steady. Evan trimmed the vector with tiny breaths of thrust. He did not chase the pulse. He kept the ship on plan. Call if phase shifts, he said. 3, 2, 1. Tap. Lena counted for the first few cycles. The taps helped her feel the shape. The taps also helped Evan time small corrections between pulses so that the ship never pushed across a moving gap. After a few minutes, she stopped counting. They both felt the field like a tide. Jalen spoke now and then to note a good decision or to remind them that slow was not lazy. You are not late if you are learning, he said. We want a clean map, not a quick guess. They drifted toward E, the old ring's shadow. The light from the station's bright rings fell away in a soft gradient. The metal ahead looked colder. Lena's echo lines tingled with that same awake feeling she had felt on the transport. Amplitude change, she said softly. The tap is a little stronger in shadow. Mark, Evan said. He tapped a flag on his board. The ship's path got a small gold dot at that point. Jai's voice entered again. I see the gain. Good. If this is a beacon fragment inside the ring, shadow might help us hear it. Keep power low. They continued the spiral. The pulse shifted. A second tone, even fainter, sat under the first like a low hum. It did not fight the first tone. It braided with it. Second tone present, Lena said. It is split across two narrow lines. They come a few heartbeats apart. Mark, Evan said again. He timed the drift so that a gentle correction happened between them. The notice on the wall held steady like a small lamp. Secondary ping detected deeper in ring interior. 3 dormant drone IDs responded with a low-power ready light. No motion yet. No threat yet. But the words changed the room. Commander Rhea lowered her voice not to hide worry but to keep the air calm. Thank you for the clear shutoff, she said to Lena, Evan, and Jalen. Now we listen again. We will not rush. We will not guess. Jai's face stayed on the briefing screen. He had already drawn a simple map. The outer ring where they had found the old beacon panel, and the darker inner rim where the Wake subroutine lived. 3 tiny dots marked the dormant drones. The dots sat in a triangle, nose in toward a central spoke. Next to the map, Jai wrote 2 clean lines. Design, service drones, pre-expansion, no weapons, guided by rules. State, sleeping, low power, waiting for a phrase or familiar corridor. Rhea looked to Jalen. We need policy on the table. If the drones wake near ceremonial lanes, people will feel unsafe, even if the drones mean no harm. If possible, we quiet them before the convoy passes. If not, we make a soft boundary so they do not wander. Jalen nodded. We use the same rules as before, no damage, no force, full logs. Evan stood still, hands at ease. He spoke with care. May I add a thought? Please, Rhea said. Call them helpers, he said, simple and direct. Their last job may have been to protect small craft with weak engines. If we treat them like threats, we will think in the wrong shape. If we treat them like old workers, we will choose kinder tools. Jai's eyes warmed. That lines up with the archive, he said. These units made lanes for tiny ships in rough weather. They do not bite, they guide. Rhea drew a breath, slow and steady. Good. Then we will speak to them as guides. She moved to planning at once. Constraints. The peace convoy arrives in... She checked the clock. 17 hours. The station AI gatekeeper has already started an archive integrity sweep because of the earlier flicker. It may lock access to old ring files while it cross-checks. I will request a narrow window for a supervised test flight. Understood, Jalen said. Rhea pointed at the triangle of dots. No entry into tight spaces. No approach closer than safety range unless the drones begin to move. If they move, we do not chase. We invite them into safe air. Jai, start a model for a rescue corridor, a visual path drones will recognize as a come here and wait lane. Use training lights and a no-fire grid if we need it. Jai was already typing. On it. They broke for 2 hours, time for soup, water, and a slow walk under the station's garden lamps. Lena and Evan walked in near silence. The quiet was not empty. It was full of a shared plan that did not yet have details. Between the lamps, the glass gave a view of the ring they had worked on. The old truss was a dark thread in the glow. Somewhere, inside that thread, 3 patient machines listened for a voice they had not heard in years. When they returned, a short notice waited at the hangar door. Gatekeeper. Archive integrity sweep in progress. Access to inner ring control nodes temporarily. Read only. Training flights permitted with instructor override. Rhea met them with the official clearance. We do a sensor calibration route that passes the inner rim at safe distance, she said. If we hear the wake subroutine stronger there, we mark. At no tone injections unless approved. If the drones wake, we fall back to the rescue corridor plan. Jalen nodded. Copy. Slow spiral. Low power. Evan and Lena climbed back into windward. The tug felt friendly now, like a small boat that knew their hands. Jalen took the instructor seat again. Jai's voice came over the line, calm as ever. Buffer is clean. I added a display layer. If the wake subroutine opens a countdown window, some old systems do that, I will paint the window on your screen. Thank you, Evan said. They departed on soft puffs. The station lights fell. Behind. The old ring grew as a quiet arc. Evan kept the approach like breath. Steady in, steady out. Lena dialed sensors down before turning them up, her favorite way to separate truth from noise. The background hiss returned, then the faint braid of 2 lines, not the beacon now, but a slower pattern with long rest between notes. I hear the wake tone, she said. It is softer than the beacon was. It feels deeper, like it comes through thicker metal. Mark, Evan said. He logged the sector, then trimmed their drift, so they entered the shadow at the calm half of the pattern. The hull made no complaint. Jalen gave a small good under his breath, a teacher's approval that did not break focus. The tone changed again near the inner rim. It took on a pulse that was not only a call, it was a question. Lena tilted her head. It asks, Are you here? Are you hurt? It is like a simple check. If a maintenance drone answered long ago, it would say, I am here. I am ready. Who calls? Evan smiled a little. Then we should answer with the same shape. Not loud, not fast, honest. Jai whispered in their ear, pleased. There is a pattern in the archive that matches that conversation. I have part of the stand-down phrase too, but Gatekeeper will not let me inject it from the station until the sweep ends. We may be able to submit the phrase at a deeper panel like the one you found before. Records show an inner spoke junction. It should sit behind a slotted cover with 2 pads. Jalen kept his eyes on the scopes. We do not touch a deeper panel on this pass. We do not need 2 risks at once. First, we confirm the tone's map. They stayed with the spiral and took another loop. The wake tone did not grow angry. It did not know anger. It behaved like an old clock waking after a long night, ticking to see if anyone else was awake. In the second loop, Lena found a bright spot, one place where the question was purest. "There," she said. "The tone is most clear by that spoke." Evan marked it. "Spoke C2, he said. "We can hold station outside that line with almost no thrust. The shadow helps." Jai painted the spot on their map. "That spoke likely hides the junction pad. If so, the stand-down phrase must be spoken both at the face and at a side join. Two pads, two halves of one word, together, in time. If the halves arrive out of window, the code fails and the system stays awake. Like before," Evan said. "We can use the hinge relay again if distance makes it a two-place task." "Approved," Jalen said. But he did not set a time. He looked at the power reserves, the ship's temperatures, and the station's traffic map. Then he looked at the clock. "We return now. We feed what we heard to Gatekeeper. If the AI unlocks for a proper maintenance action, we do it with a clean tag." They drifted back. At the hangar, Rhea and Jai were already in the briefing room. The station's AI had moved the sweep to stage 2, which meant more locks, not fewer. "Gatekeeper heard our case," Rhea said, dry and honest. "It is cautious. It accepts the outer panel shutoff because the logs were perfect. It will not accept a deeper pad action yet. It wants proof that the wake routine could disturb lanes." "Will it accept a non-touch test?" Jalen asked. "Yes," Rhea said. "A visual-only pattern at safe distance. You may flash a low-power rescue signal from windward to see if the drones pivot. Only pivot, not move. Pivot is enough to prove they are awake enough to be curious. Then Gatekeeper will let us cut a maintenance ticket for a deeper pad entry." Jai put the rescue plan on the wall. It was simple and kind. Training lights set to a soft sweep that created a corridor image. A tiny tone that said "follow" in the old rules. No command, only suggestion. A slow pulse aimed away from ceremonial lanes and toward the museum hangar, which still had a no-fire grid and a safe-to-wait mark in its ancient code tables. "We will not do step 3 today," Jai said. "Today is only a tiny flash to prove pivot. 2 seconds, then off." Rhea looked at Lena. "If they pivot, your hearing will catch it before any graph." "I will call it," Lena said. They went again, thrice in one day, but their hands were steady. Windward left the hangar on a softer breath than before. Evan kept below any level that would feel like a push. They reached the edge of the inner rim's shadow. The wake tone asked its small question again. "Light set," Jalen said. "Windward rescue pattern ready." "On your call," Evan said. Jalen gave a small nod. 2 seconds, very low. Evan tapped the control. Windward showed a thin lane of light, a simple path that said "this way" without urgency. The lights made no glare. They were as soft as a hand held out in the dark. "Off," Jalen said. Lena listened. She did not hear motion. She heard a tilt in the tone. "One drone pivoted its head unit by 2 degrees, she said, starboard of spoke C2. Jai made a sound like a quiet cheer. "Pivot confirmed. Gatekeeper will accept that." "Any movement?" Jalen asked. "No movement," Lena said. "Only the tilt." Then stillness. "Good." Rhea's voice came over calm. "Come home." They returned, filed the log, and watched Gatekeeper change one line from read-only to maintenance window permitted on request. It felt like a door had unlocked one latch, not all of them. Enough to open with care. Rhea did not waste time. "I am signing the maintenance ticket for a 2-pad stand-down entry. You will go with a safety officer added to your crew. You will wear suits and tethers. You will use the hinge relay as needed. You will not enter any crawl space with unknown structure." Jalen nodded. "Yes." Jai added one more quiet warning. "Old pads sometimes have a fallback rule. If a panel sees what it thinks is a tamper after a wake signal, it may open a countdown to full wake. That is rare. But if we mistime the phrase, or if the panel rejects our modern ID in a strict way, it may think someone—" Windward floated like a small star at the edge of the inner rim's shadow. The old truss looked close enough to touch, but Evan kept the tug at a kind distance where nothing could scrape. The ship's lamps were dim, the training lights were off. Only the status strip glowed along the console. Battery nets green, thrusters idle, beacon passive, logs recording. The museum hangar waited to port, a dark mouth with the ancient no-fire grid sleeping inside like a calm net. Commander Ria's voice came on the line, level and warm. "You are on station 15 minutes before the auto-clean, thank you. Gatekeeper will stay silent unless you ask. I will keep non-essential traffic out of your lane. Speak short." "Copy," Jalen said from the instructor seat. "We are the lighthouse." Lena rolled her shoulders once to make the suit sit right. Her echo lines felt awake. Not tense. Bright. She wore the small tuning clip on her collar, muted for now. The inner rim carried a slow hush, like air after rain. Evan's hands rested near the stick, not gripping it. His breath matched the ship's drift. Hyejin checked the tether spool and the kit box one more time, even though they did not plan to go outside again. It was her way to keep the room steady. Jai spoke from the system screen in the hangar. "I have the auto-clean ping timer. It will touch the spoke panel in 14 minutes. The standby watchman window shows 3 hours left, but the first touch will come long before it ends. If the old node calls the touch curious, the drones may tilt. If it calls it visit, they may step. Plan stays the same," Jalen said. "If tilt only, we do nothing. If step, we show the corridor and hum the follow tone at the kindest level. No push." Ria added the last quiet rule. "If more than one thing moves at once and the path becomes messy, we call a pause and let traffic stop. I would rather delay ceremony lanes than rush old helpers. They waited the way patient people wait, by making small, ready moves, not by staring at the clock." Evan tuned the training lights so one switch would form a soft bead string in the Yao dark. Lena set the follow tone to a low level that would register on old sensors but not flash across the station. Hyejin drew 3 tiny triangles on the nav overlay and named them by their short IDs, D1, D2, D3. Jai put the museum hangar on the same map and drew a gentle arc between the ring and the grid. The arc looked like a ribbon. The minutes fell. The old ring held its breath. The auto-clean ping arrived without drama. It was not loud. It was a polite touch from a maintenance list that did not know stories. The spoke panel answered with a small, "I hear you." The standby watchman window noticed the new presence and changed tone. It did not shout. It simply opened its eyes. Lena felt the change first. "Tilt," she whispered. "D3 turns a head unit by 3 degrees. D1 by 1 degree. D2 is late." "Mark," Evan said. He put small gold dots on their overlay. "No step yet." A full minute passed. Then another tiny change came through the hull, through the air, through Lena's echo lines. "Step," she said. D3 lifts wheels at EA. "Fingers width, it wants to see the lane." Jalen spoke in a steady rhythm that helped everyone breathe. "We are the lighthouse. We show a quiet shore." "Lights," Evan said. He tapped the control. Windward drew a soft strand of stars, training lamps in a slow sweep that made a corridor in the dark. The strand did not point at the drones. It began near them and leaned away toward the museum hangar like a hand that said this way, but did not grab. "Tone," Jalen said. Lena brought the follow hum alive. It was not a command. It was a promise. "You will not be lost if you come this way." The tone used the old rise and fall that Jai had found in the archive. It carried a rest beat that told old minds to move without hurry. "Response," Jai whispered into their ears. D3 rolls 6 centimeters. D1 pivots another 2. D2 is stubborn. It tries to turn, but one bearing is sticky. "Stay gentle," Jalen said. "We do not split the path yet. We keep one lane and let the first mover teach the others." Evan trimmed Windward's nose by a hair so the bead string of lights drifted in the direction of the hangar. Not fast, not slow. He did not push the lane under D3's wheels. He let the lane appear where D3 already wanted to look. The drone understood the shape. It rotated fully. It made a small test motion. It stopped, listened, and then rolled again with care. Its sensors caught the tone and the soft light like a memory of work it knew. It followed. D3 is on the string, Jai said. Good. D1 is learning from the first. It rotates to match. D2 tries again. The sticky bearing catches and releases. Its path jitters. Options? Yejin asked. We can thicken the bead string near D2 to show a clearer edge, Jai said. Or we can add a tiny rest beat in the tone that says, slow more for the weak wheel. Lena moved her fingers over the tone slider, then paused. I hear a shadow noise near D2, she said. Not from the drone, from the wall beside it. The patched plates make a small echo. The tone reaches D2 with a blur because of the echoes, and the blur confuses the weak sensor. Evan made the simple ask. What helps? Not more tone, Lena said. Less tone. A shorter touch at a different moment so the echo fades before the next touch arrives. Like calling across water only when the ripples are away. Approved, Jalen said. Jai? I can cut the follow hum for 1 unit every 3 beats, Jai said. We create a gap that kills the echo before the next call. The first 2 drones will not mind, the third will hear a cleaner path. Do it, Jalen said. Jai changed the tone pattern. The ship felt the difference. The hum became a little more like breathing. Response, Lena said. D2's, head steadies. The sticky wheel still catches, but the body no longer jitters. It sees a path, not a smear. Evan eased the lane a fraction closer to D2's nose without crossing the rule line. He also pivoted Windward's body by 2 degrees so the bead string made a soft curve instead of a straight push. Curves invited, straight lines insisted. Old helpers liked invitations. D3 rolled. D1 followed the student. D2 tried, paused, tried again. Its sticky bearing made a faint scrape that did not carry through space, but the ship's sensors showed the small change of load. Distance to museum hangar grid? Jalen asked. 200 meters, Yejin said. Traffic? Jalen asked. Clear, Rhea said. Ceremony practice paused. You have a wide room. The drones moved like careful animals learning a new path. They did not spin fast. They did not drift wide. They kept to the bead string that Evan shaped with his hands, and they listened to the tone that Lena kept like a heart. Every 10 meters, Evan paused the lane for 1 breath so the robots could stop, check, and choose again. Each time they chose toward the hangar. Jai watched waveforms and smiled to himself. They still obey the old no-rush clause, he said. If the guide pauses, they must pause. If the guide is calm, they must be calm. Good law, Jalen said. They reached a gentle bend in the path where a long bracket of truss cast a thin shadow. The shadow fell across D2's weak wheel. The wheel caught the edge and stuck. The drone rotated its head and pushed a little harder in the wrong way. Its body turned toward the ceremony lane. Hold, Jalen said at once. Hold, Evan echoed. He froze the bead string. He did not swing the ship to block. He did not flash the lamps. He did the old, simple thing. He made the world still, so one small mind could make one small, clean choice. Lena listened. The wake tone in the ring had gone soft again. The follow hum pulsed under her fingers. She heard D2's motor wind, then ease. It is not lost, she said. It is only caught by the shadow. If we show a bright edge at the right angle, it will see that the lane continues away from the shadow and will not try to push through it. A bright edge without glare? Heejin asked, already opening the kit. We have a reflector strip from the lamp case. Yes, Lena said. A small arc, not a bar. We do not make a wall. We make a soft shore. Do we have time? Rhea asked. Plenty, Jai said. No rush. The grid is clear. They did not go outside. They did not break any rule. Hyojin slid the small reflector into a frame just inside the window and rotated it by a hair so that Windward's own low lamp bounced a soft curve of light onto the truss near the shadow. Just enough at the right place to show the bead string's gentle bend. The reflected curve did not shine in the drone's eyes. It lit the floor. Resume, Jalen said, quiet. Evan did not move the lane. He kept it as it was. He only allowed time. D2 saw the curve. It lifted, rolled, and found the quiet place where the sticky wheel could move again. It aligned with D3 and D1 and followed like a worker who did not want to be late after all. Good, Lena said, soft but pleased. Distance to grid? Jalen asked. 120 meters, Hyejin said. The hangar mouth is open. The no-fire net is live in friendly mode. Grid language set to safe to wait, Jai said. The code table says the drones will power down on entry and hold for a caretaker. They moved another 40 meters. The museum hangar loomed like a cave with a welcome lantern. The bead string drifted into the mouth and turned toward a clean corner marked with yellow lines that old minds would recognize. D3 entered the mouth and slowed of its own rules. D1 copied. D2 came third, sticky bearing grumbling but steady now. Net response? Jalen asked. Grid sees 3 friendlies, Jai said. It sends the rest flag. D3 stopped in the painted corner. Its small legs folded into its body. A soft dot lit on its frame, an old sign for, I am here and quiet. D1 mirrored the motion. D2 froze, tried to fold a leg, felt. The station held its breath the way a crowd holds quiet before a song. Far below, the blue planet turned like a calm thought. Out in the dark, the peace convoy traced the slow spiral, lights in neat rows, thrusters whispering. Inside the hangar, Lena stood with Evan, Jalen, Hyejin, Commander Rhea, and Jai. The museum door hummed gently on their left. The 3 old drones rested inside, small dots glowing on their frames to say, I am here and quiet. Gatekeeper's voice had already filled the echo paths with a soft bed, a harmony under the coming honor tone. Mark, the AI said. Honor tone in 10, 9, 8. Lena closed her eyes. She was not escaping the room. She was making room inside herself to listen. Her echo lines along her temples felt like fine strings tuned right. Evan watched her for a half-breath, then turned his eyes to the window, hands still and ready. 3, 2, 1. Gatekeeper said. The honor tone arrived like a low river note, warm and kind. It slid along the station's skin and passed, through the patched plates as a held breath passes through a quiet chest. The bed the AI had made did its work. The low note did not bounce. It settled. Lights on the convoy ships brightened and dimmed with the music, and the station's rings answered with a small shimmer. Nothing sharp, only welcome. Stable, Jai said softly. Echo path steady. No bumps. Rhea nodded once. Good. A heartbeat later, a second sound braided into the first. It was short and bright, 2 octaves higher, the escort's small silver thread. It did not push. It touched. On the scopes, it looked like a thin line. In the air, it felt like a star. Lena listened. The high note brushed a narrow band close to the quiet band she and Evan had used at the Interspoke hours ago. She did not tense. She only listened deeper, the way a careful person listens for a kettle click in the next room. Still stable, Jai said. Harmony holding. He had just said it when a tiny new mark appeared on his panel, like a pencil dot near the page. Edge. He tapped it. His voice stayed calm. Small visitor drone near the inner ring, he reported. Media unit from a ceremony crew, not in our lane. It is polite. It is curious. Distance? Jalen asked. 50 meters from Spoke C2, Jai said. Its camera tried a modern ping for better focus. Gatekeeper blocked the handshake, but the panel felt a brush. Rhea's voice did not sharpen. It grew even softer. Watchman? Watchman. Noticed, Jai said. Not a full trigger. A question. Inner node asks, who is there? Timer still counting. 2 hours left. The high note overlaps by a hair. Lena tilted her head. She was not afraid. She felt the shape of the event, like a picture. The old panel lifting its head a little at the same time a bright, brief note touched the air. It was not a danger by itself. It was 2 polite things arriving at once at an old door. We can answer from here, she said. We do not need to touch. Say how? Rhea asked. Old workers knew a dock signal, Lena said, voice simple. Lantern at the rail held steady, then tipped once, then steady again. It said, caretaker present. House is full. Rest. It is not a command. It is a posture. The watchman will accept it if the timing matches a known window. Jai's eyes warmed. The archive has a note like that, a non-contact assurance. It is not in audio words, it is a shape in time. Evan nodded. We can draw that shape. We have lights. We have calm hands. Jalen looked at Rhea. Permission to answer with a dock lantern posture? Granted, Rhea said at once. No, force. No rush. Windward? Evan asked. Windward, Jalen agreed. They jogged the short path to the tug as if moving too fast might spill the moment. Inside, the cabin woke like a friend. Evan settled left. Lena sat right at her board. Yejin took the small kit. Reflectors, wedges, a spare lamp. Jalen strapped in and opened the log. Gatekeeper, he said. Mask our light to the spoke. Path only. Mask set, the AI answered. I will keep the station harmony on the low path. Your lantern posture will ride above it. Windward eased out of the hangar like a leaf leaving shade. Evan did not blaze toward the ring. He set a drift that would take them into a line where their hull lights, through two gentle reflectors, would send a steady beam to the spoke face without glare. Hyejin adjusted the first reflector by a hair, then set the second so the path would be clean. She did not try to paint the whole wall. She made a stripe the width of a hand. Lena watched the wake window in her ear. The high note brushed the quiet band and moved on. It would come again when the escort swung past one more time. The watchman's tiny question sat at the door like a polite whisper. Are you here? Lantern posture is 3 beats, Jai said. Steady 2, tip 1, steady 2. Copy, Evan said. We will hold the first steady through the escort's bright note so the old ear hears calm under a spark. On my call, Lena said. Windward's lamp did not flare. It came up as if someone uncovered a candle with 2 fingers. A small, steady beam found the spoke face right where the old panel would see it. Now, Lena said. Evan held the steady. The high note sang again, silver and clean. It passed through the steady light like sun through clear water. The panel's question did not grow. It waited. Tip, Lena said, exactly in the old window. Evan moved the light by the smallest angle, a nod, not a shake. Hyejin adjusted the second reflector so the tip landed like a feather on the edge of the pad seam, and then returned to the first line. The motion was not a signal in modern code. It was a posture from another time. Steady, Lena said. They held the line for 2 more beats, then eased the lamp down to dark. Not snap, not cut. The watchman listened. The timer did not jump. It did not speed. The tiny dot on Jai's panel changed from plain to hollow, an old mark that meant, a person is here. Accepted, Jai said, joy hidden but present. Node marked caretaker at rail. The media drone backed away on its own rule. Gatekeeper is pushing a polite reminder to ceremony crews to keep distance. Rhea's voice came, soft and proud. Thank you. Hold where you are until the salute finishes. The convoy ships rounded the last wide arc. The low honor tone flowed, the high thread touched and went, and the station stayed calm. People in windows pressed their hands to glass, then took them, back not to smudge, but because the moment felt like something you did not hold, only met. When the notes faded, Gatekeeper lowered the harmony bed for the outer plates a step at a time, until silence in that band felt like true quiet, not a gap. The lights of the convoy became steady dock lanes. Traffic officers spoke in simple phrases. The ceremony did not need a loud voice. It needed many small, correct ones. Windward drifted home, a small star that had done a small job well. In the Aesir hangar, the tea was still warm in the pot. Rhea poured again. No one made a speech. They let the relief sit like sun on a bench. After a while, work returned in gentle steps. Jai filed an addendum. Non-contact assurance posture used at inner node. Accepted. Hyejin carried a heater to the museum hangar. She set it near D2's weak leg seal so the metal would not stiffen on the cold hours of the night cycle. An older tech from the museum team wrote a card with a blue pen and taped it to the drone's frame where the old eyes would look. Leg seal weak. You are safe. We will help after the ceremony. He signed his name in small letters and drew a neat square, the old sign for promise. Lena and Evan stood side by side and watched the museum door a moment. The grid hummed its soft no-fire song. D3 and D1 rested like folded chairs. D2 rested too, the weak leg warm at last. You kept the light steady, Lena said. You tipped it when a tip was enough, Evan said. They did not praise each other more than that. The day had been full of many hands. Each hand had done its part. Commander Rhea joined them. Her voice carried nothing but thanks. We will write a quiet citation, she said. It will say, for patience, care, and steady work under a fixed clock. It will live in a drawer where such things live. And it will matter when someone needs to know how to act on a different day. Evan smiled a little. A drawer is a fine place for a paper that holds calm. Rhea returned the smile. Yes. Gatekeeper added a line in its neutral tone. For the next 12 hours, I have set a watch that prefers listening to checking near the inner node. If a curious hand comes close, I will first show the lantern posture as a picture on the panel before I ask a question. Good, Jalen said. Let the first thing be kindness. The convoy began to dock in careful pairs. The ceremony teams walked with small flags and soft shoes. Bands played on low stages without amplifiers, so the music felt like breath. In one hall, 2 delegations set a table with ordinary bread and poured water into clear glasses. People sat and looked at one another and did not talk first. Then, someone laughed in relief and talk began. Later, after logs and notices and one more bowl of soup, Lena and Evan returned to the academy transport for the ride back to their quarters. The cabin looked the same as in the morning. Rows of seats, harnesses, small screens, a soft smell of clean metal. Yet something felt different. Not the ship, the space around Lena. Cadets who had looked past her earlier now looked at her the way people look at an open book they want to read slowly. No one crowded her. No one spoke too much. A human from the row ahead touched the headrest and asked, "May I sit here?" Another cadet from another world held up his tablet and said, "If you do not mind, could I share your view? Your ears are..." He could not find the right word. He settled on, "Very good." Lena thanked them and pointed to the seats around. "Many places," she said with a small smile.